And Arsenal fans all over the world are quite excited because after 14 years, Arsenal have made it through to the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League, and they await who their next opponent will be, likely to be the likes of Manchester City or Bayern Munich. And for the Super Eagles, of course, the portal has been closed for the coaching role for the players, and announcements will be made soon for the man who will take over from Joseph Peseiro, who quit his role some weeks ago. I am Udoka, Njoku, and this is In the Game. And of course, we'll be looking at a lot of things happening across the world of sports, especially over there in Accra, Ghana, talking about the 13th edition of the African Games. Now, you can reach us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel at News Central TV. And of course, we are streaming live. You can join us and enjoy the show. Now, let's start off the show with our top 5 stories, starting off with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now, former Super Eagles coaches Emmanuel Amuneke and Samson Siasia are among over 20 indigenous and foreign coaches who have applied for the position of head coach of Nigeria Super Eagles. The Nigeria Football Federation had last week declared the position vacant following the expiration of former coach Joseph Peseiro in February. Now, a portal for submission of interested coaches to replace the Portuguese tactician was opened on the Federation's website. Now, former head coach of Tanzania national team and ex-FIFA Under-17 World Cup winning team coach Emmanuel Amuneke, Enyimba Football Club head coach and Peseiro's assistant, that's Finidi George, and former Super Eagles handler Sunday Olise are among those who have indicated interest in becoming the next Super Eagles coach. Others are former Flying Eagles and Super Eagles coach Samson Siasia, ex-Super Eagles assistant coach Silvanus Okpala, USA Under-16 national team coach Michael Ntien, and there's also former Super Eagles goalkeeper Ndubuisi Egbo, who is a first Nigerian coach to win a league in Europe in 2019-2020 season in Albania, and the former Indomitable Lions of Cameroon coach Antonio Conceicao. So these are the coaches who have applied for the role of the head coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and we look forward to when the thorough scrutiny will be done, and of course due diligence and then announcement of who the new manager for the Super Eagles will be. All right, still talking about the NFF. Now, the Football Federation Refereeing Development Unit has stepped down a center referee, Jimo Abdurrahid from Bauchi, along with an assistant referee, Zakari Adamu from Jigawa, who officiated the football match between Rivers United Football Club and Kano Pillars played on Saturday in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Now, the stepping down of the center referee followed a petition by Kano Pillars management to the MPFL and the interim management company in the ending match, which saw Kano Pillars goalkeeper being pushed into the net after he grabbed the ball from a Rivers United player, as a result of which the goalkeeper was down for over 15 minutes following an injury after the struggle with the opposing side. Now, the referee to have given the Rivers United the goal, thereby giving an equalizer with for Kano Pillars. Now, the stepping down letter was copied the NFF chairman and the general secretary, respectively. So, of course, these are referees being faulted and demoted, and of course, being sanctioned for bad officiating. All right, from that one, let's go over to our third story, and it has to do with the African Games, as multiple national champion Franca Audu won a bronze medal in the 48-kilogram women's judo event at the ongoing 13th African Games in Ghana, where she defeated Sarah Riu of Mauritius. Now, in a reversal of fortune, Ismail Al-Hassan lost to his Central African Republic opponent in the bronze medal bout. Now, it is a third bronze medal for Franca, which is, of course, her winning from the African Games. The last one she won was in Maputo in 2011. She also won bronze in Brazzaville in 2015. And, of course, the one she just won yesterday in Accra, Ghana, talking about the 2024 13th African Games. So congratulations to all medalists right there, and especially for Franca Audu for winning the bronze medal in the 48 kilogram of the judo event. All right, to football matters now. Let's talk about Ghanaian-born goalkeeper David Akologo. He has received the call-up to the Bolivian national team for their forthcoming friendlies scheduled for this March. Hailing from Ghana, Akologo was first approached by the Bolivian Football Federation in August 2023. Having resided in Bolivia since 2020, The 27-year-old meets the criteria outlined in the country's nationality law, which stipulates that a foreigner who has lived continuously in the country is eligible for naturalization. That's if he has done at least 3 years in that country. Despite his Ghanaian roots, Akologo's journey in football has taken him to Bolivia, where he has impressed with his performance for Club Deportivo Aurora. Now, he was invited to represent the Ghana under-20 team during his younger years, showcasing his talent and potential on the international stage. Now, with his selection to the Bolivian national team, Akologo has the opportunity to establish himself further as a formidable goalkeeper on the international scene. So, of course, we wish Akologo well and hoping that he will be becoming the #1 shot stopper for the Bolivia national team. All right, from there, let's talk about basketball. And this time around, it is about retirement, and it is for forward Otto Porter Jr. He has waived the Utah Jazz on Monday. He has announced his retirement from the NBA after 11 seasons. The 30-year-old never played for the Utah Jazz after he averaged 2.6 points with 1.9 rebounds in 15 games for the Toronto Raptors this season. He was included in the February 8th trade along with Kira Lewis Jr. and a first-round draft pick that sent Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji to the Raptors. The third overall pick of the 2013 NBA draft also played for the Washington Wizards, Chicago Bulls, and Orlando Magic over his career, averaging 10.3 points with 4.9 rebounds in 527 games. That is having 319 starts. So for Otto Porter Jr., he has announced his retirement from the world of basketball. So we look forward to more good things for Otto. This is after playing 11 seasons in the NBA. And that's a wrap on our top 5 stories. Let's go on a break. When we return, of course, there's still a whole lot more to talk about in the world of sports. We'll be All right, thanks for staying with us. It is still in the game on New Central TV. I am Udoka, Njoku. Now we're taking a trip all the way to Accra, Ghana, where the 13th edition of the African Games is going on. And of course, right there, the medals, talking about the medals table, Egypt are top with a lot of medals, while Nigeria comes second. And in as much as we're having a great tournament so far, looking at the event, and these athletes are winning medals, some sports pundits have gone on social media to look at everything happening right there in Ghana. Even some Ghanaian journalists have been bashing the events proper, looking at how their teams are performing and also the organization of the games so far. So we'll be looking at some of the good things, talking about the organization that has happened from the opening ceremony till date, as we look forward to more events going down, and also the bad sides and the ugly ones as well of the All-Africa, rather the 13th edition of the Africa Games. And I've got my guest joining me all the way from Accra, Ghana, Felix Romark. He is a data analyst, data sports analyst and editor of Ghana League Live. Good to have you with us, Felix Romark.
Good. Always good to be here. How is Nigeria?
Well, very well. You know, I love to pinch you a lot when I have you on my show. So get ready for this one now. At the Africa Cup of Nations, Nigeria did way better than Ghana. And there's been this comparison of Nigeria jollof rice and Ghanaian jollof rice, and we know who is winning that battle. Now, let me ask you, and I'm sure you're going to answer sincerely, where is Nigeria and where is Ghana on the medals table at the Africa Games?
Well, currently, the Nigeria somewhere around 4th, Ghana out of the top 10.
Wow.
And it's not surprising. It is not surprising because when you look at the number of disciplines that Nigeria always find themselves in terms of numbers, they have the numbers. In terms of the number of disciplines, Nigeria probably will be competing in almost all the events. So I'm sure by the end of the day, Nigeria will still make more medals, than Ghana because of the sheer number of size and the number of events that they find themselves in. And that is the reason why we have countries from the North African region always getting a lot of medals. If you look at the Egyptians, when it comes to African game history, or previously the All-African game history, they've got the highest number of medals because they compete in almost all the disciplines. I've run commentary on some of the games they've had at these games. I did swimming, I did wrestling, and they were very, very good. Actually, wrestling is one of the disciplines that Nigerians are very good in. 2 days today, when I was running all the Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians made it into the finals, but couldn't get, the ultimate, which was gold, because of the appearance of the Egyptians and Algerians in that particular discipline. So I'm sure that when it comes to the North Africans, the only countries that can challenge them on that medal table would have to be the South Africans and the Nigerians.
All right, so still talking about the games now. Let's look at everything that has happened so far from the opening ceremony till date. What would be your submission? How has the game been so far? Because I know there's been ups and downs over there in Ghana, but for you, what has it been like?
Well, I think that for somebody like me, on a personal level, it is good, because this is the first time I'm covering the All African Games. I've had an exposure of meeting athletes I've never met before. I've had the opportunity of working with a production team that is from France, who are basically covering the entire game. I think that also as a country, sometimes when you host tournaments like this, it is not just about the financial benefit. You look at what you can do in terms of infrastructure. Ghana didn't have a standard Olympic swimming arena. Now we have one, the Boteman facility, which is hosting most of the indoor games. It's a fantastic facility. I don't think that if it was for the All African Games, Ghanaians would have such a facility. The Legon Sports Stadium, which would host the athletics on the 18th of March, that facility has been there since 2013. If not for this All African Games or the African Games, this facility wouldn't have seen its completion. So the All African Games have been positive in terms of infrastructure. Now we have a new cricket oval, and we have an athletics warm-up arena. That they've redeveloped the Theodosia Oko hockey pitch, the Accra Sports Stadium. I've seen an improvement in terms of the playing surface. You can see same for the Cape Coast Sports Stadium. So this game has brought the extra addition of sporting infrastructure into the country. Aside that, there's been a maintenance and remodernization of other sporting facilities as well. So these are the positives that the African Games always seems to bring to host countries that get to host the event. Aside that, the major issue would have to be the maintenance culture, because we've seen Africans who have hosted such events before, and then the state after after the games, the condition of those infrastructures are left to rot. So we are hoping that even after the game, the facilities will still be put in good use and will be maintained. I don't really want to talk about the bad side, but there's been a bit of negativity, especially with the individual association of federations from the Ghana team. We've had issues where cyclists, the Ghanaian cycling champion couldn't finish his race because he had a broken bicycle. He wasn't using the right standard of bicycle for the cycling competition. We've had issues with badminton players being given, footwear that are not their actual size. We've had issues where they've been ferried or they've been transported to games village to go and compete, where they were put at the back of a pickup truck. And these are some of the things that you don't want to really dwell on. There's been an issue where an ambulance didn't have a fuel to follow the cyclists when they were about to start the competition. And then the cycling guys decided, without an ambulance, we are not going to start the race. It was until that they got an ambulance that has fuel in them. So these are the little negatives that you can say surround the competition. But I'm sure that lessons have been learned. There's been a press conference from the Ministry of Youth and Sports by the minister himself, saying that all these things are issues that need to be addressed. But aside that, I think security has been excellent. We haven't had anything bad. A lot of people who are in the country for the first time are having a feel of it. There's been a games village where definitely you get Senegalese coming with their jollof. The Nigerian jollof has always been around, and then the Ghanaian jollof as well. But so far, I think that it's been excellent, and every of the discipline you could see the competitiveness from the athletes. The opening ceremony on your screen now was one of the best. I was at the stadium. It was excellent, well coordinated and well choreographed. I really loved everything about it. So, being a huge fan of boxing and athletics, I can't wait when those events start. But so far, it's been peaceful, it's been calm. Aside those negative stories, I think that it's been a very good tournament or competition so far.
All right. Now, you mentioned something about infrastructure and all that. And just before the games, I heard a couple of people complaining about the budgets, money being spent on these games. But of course, we can also spare them because these infrastructures need a lot of investment when it comes to the monetary part of it. So, but I just hope that maintenance culture will be good enough to at least maintain this infrastructure, looking forward to other things that will happen, not just footballing events now. Well, we can say these issues can be minute, but to these athletes who want to come out and shed blood for their country just to win a medal, it just might be big for them, because I saw a video where some wrestlers, not just the Ghanaian wrestlers, now even the opponent finished rather in a wrestling game, the wrestling event. He didn't even have a towel to clean his sweat. He was being fanned by probably his teammates and all of that. I don't think it's a good sight when it comes to the world watching, because the world is watching Africa. We hosted the Nations Cup, and we saw how the world kept on saying that, look, officiating was good, the VAR was good, football was good in Africa, and some of these players will surely get transferred to bigger clubs when the transfer windows open. But this is not a good sight when it comes to watching sports in Africa. Athletes are finding themselves, athletes not having the right pair of shoes and equipment to go further in a competition. I also saw one of the cases where Ghana's weightlifting gold medalist, Winifred Ntumi, she said the jersey she used is an old jersey that she had to use in competing in the 2023 edition of the Games. And I also saw where the Minister of Youth and Sports came out to deny any of those controversial moments. And I'm wondering, who do we point our fingers at?
Well, I think that both the federations and the Ministry of Youth and Sports should take a blame, because let's be very honest, if you're an athlete that is competing in wrestling, you know very well the importance of having a towel at an event. I don't think that it has to take the ministry to get you a common towel to wipe your athletes at the arena. And then also I feel that there was lack of communication between the federation and the ministry, because there were moments where the ministry said they had written to the federations demanding of them what they want for them to participate in the tournament. For Winifred Ntumi's case, she had all the staffs, but I think that the ministry had actually acquired the jerseys and the equipment for her, but it got in late before she was able to use it to compete. And there's been other athletes as well who have on their own, come out to pay for their own participation, not just from Ghana, but other African countries as well. They've had, challenges with raising funds to come to Ghana to come and compete. And it's something that normally you hear from our part of Africa. I don't think the Southern Africans who have issues with raising funds or coming to compete. I don't think the North Africans, the Egyptians, the Algerians, the Moroccans, I don't think that they'll have issues coming to Ghana to come and compete, because they see the essence of sports and how well sports are managed. If you look at Africa, most of the times when we go out to compete in athletics, in other competition or other sporting event, it is almost countries from the western side of Africa that complain about bonuses, that complain about preparation or not. And I think that it is high time we as journalists who have the voices, who sit behind the microphones or behind TV sets, it is high time we hold those in charge of our sports accountable, that, if you want athletes to bring laurels to their country, you have to make sure that you are helping in their preparation. Don't promise them huge money when they win gold, silver, and bronze, when you are not contributing to their training regime, or you are not contributing to their preparation for a game. So I think that it is high time we start pushing those in authority to do the right things to help the athletes in bringing glory to their country.
All right, and of course, I also heard that the hockey event, which was supposed to hold on the 15th, has now been moved to the 16th because the equipment arrived late. And I wonder how long it will take them to lay the hockey pitch before these players can practice before the games will start. Now, Ghana are number 12 on the medal standing. A lot of the athletes have blamed their losses to the bad preparations. Now, going forward, we still have a few days to the end of the tournament. Are there some other sports that you feel like Ghana can improve upon and at least up their medal ranking and finish in a good position on the table?
Well, if you look at Ghana when it comes to the All African Games, we've done quite well in athletics over the years. You know, boxing has also brought Ghana a lot of medals in African game history, and then even at the Olympics. So these are the areas where I'm expecting Ghana to get some medals. I think the track and field, the 4x400, current African champions are Ghanaians, led by Benjamin Azamati. So we are expecting to get a medal from there, and then also probably the 200, the 100 meters as well. And then maybe the long jump, high jump should get Ghana medal, and then a lot of medals would have to come from boxing as well. But we shouldn't also forget that at this All African Games, there are some disciplines that are being used as a demonstration sport. So, for instance, you have chess, you have mixed martial arts. Ghana yesterday won 7 medals at the mixed martial arts, but because it is a demonstrative sport, those medals that have been won won't be added to the main medal table. So a couple of medals will be won, but they won't be added to the main table because they are demonstrative sports. But aside that, I think boxing and athletics should get Ghana some medals.
All right, thank you very much, Felix Romark. And before I let you go, I heard something earlier before I came into the studio that Otto Addo has been, or rather, he's set to be appointed as Ghana's coach heading into the qualifiers. I don't know, do you want to confirm that, or is it false?
Well, those are the rumors. He's clear favorite now. He's been with the team before, but it will be a bit surprising because per the search for the new coach after Chris Hilton left, one of the criteria was that the coach coming in should have a 15 years experience in coaching. But I don't think that Otto Addo has that. He's never coached a national team before until when Ghana gave him the job in that qualifier for the World Cup against Nigeria. And it will be a bit surprising that they've gone back against their words and appointing somebody who is 15 years old. But, Ghana have two friendly games against Uganda and Nigeria in Morocco. So we are expecting that the coach will be named before those fixtures later at the end of this month. So let's see how it goes. And I'm sure that we will come back to News Channel to discuss the appointment of a new Ghanaian coach. And hopefully whoever comes in gets a win over Nigeria in that upcoming friendly.
Wow, you've already started the banter. Don't let us get back on social media and continue on that one. But of course, I'd like to thank you, my friend, Felix Romark, for joining the show today.
Thank you very much, and have a lovely day.
All right, thank you very much. And talking about the African Games, let's once again go back to the medal table and let you know that Egypt are top of that one with 94 medals in total, 53 gold, 21 silver, and 20 bronze. And Nigeria comes second, 48 medals, 22 gold, 10 silver, and 16 bronze medals. Algeria comes third with 18 gold, 23 silver, 25 bronze, with 66 medals in total, while South Africa are fourth on the table with 18 gold, 17 silver, and 31 bronze medals, making it 66 medals. But of course, we know that South Africa still have some sports that they are quite dominant in, so we expect them to up their medals on the medal ranking. We see Zimbabwe in the 13th position with just 4 medals, 1 gold, 1 silver, and 2 bronze medals. And of course, those medalists will surely be rewarded hugely now by their country's FA. All right, from the African Games, let's go straight to rugby and talk about the South Africa Rugby Union, where yesterday we saw that an announcement was made and one man has returned to the top, talking about leading the South Africa Rugby, that is Rassie Erasmus. Now, they announced some new coaches for the Springbok team for the next 4 years. Now, Erasmus was head coach for South Africa's 2019 World Cup victory and had been director of rugby when the Springboks successfully defended a title in France last October. Now he is back and he says, look, this is a movie that he loves. He has seen it before and he enjoys being in that movie.
Well, it doesn't matter how much pressure it is. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I say if you love something enough and you can't contribute in the way you should step away. So I will always be not begging for my job. If I'm not good enough and the fans want me out, then it's time to go. But at this time, I'm so in love with this country and the way we do things and the way they support the Springboks that I can't think of a nicer job to have with all the pressure and all the other stuff which will come. And people will be upset at times and I will be upset at times, but I've seen this movie before.
I've seen this movie before, and I love to be in that movie. Word coming from the head coach of South Africa Springboks, that is Rassie Erasmus. All right, from there, let's go straight to football matters and talk about the Ghana Premier League. We look at the games that will go down later today in different centers across Ghana. We would see the likes of Berekum Chelsea in action versus Edwana Stars. There is also Great Olympics versus Karela United. Samatex will take on Swatreman, and Ashanti Kotoko will be up against Accra Lions. And over to the West African brothers, talking about the Nigeria Premier Football League. Games will go down across different centers. Plateau United versus Gombe United. Doma United versus Shooting Stars. Aqua United versus Bendel Insurance. Heartland will take on Abia Warriors. Kano Pillars versus Enugu Rangers. There is Kwara United taking on Bayelsa United. Lobby Stars versus Rivers United. And of course, Niger Tornadoes will take on Sporting Lagos. Remo Stars versus Enyimba. And then Sunshine Stars will hope to shine and burn down Katsina United. But of course, I will look out for interesting games in the Nigeria Premier Football League. In the South Africa PSL, it was just one game that went down yesterday, and Mamelodi Sundowns and SuperSport United settled for a 1-1 draw. And in the Cup game, that is the South Africa Cup, University of Pretoria will be taking on Moroka Swallows. That's the only game in the South Africa Cup later today. From there, let's talk about the Egypt Premier League. El Gona defeated Zamalek 3-2, and it was National Bank winning that one against Al Ahly by 4-3. And ZFC and Al Masry settled for a 2-2 draw. While in the Morocco Botola Pro, one game will go down. Youssoufia Berekid will take on RSB Berkane. That's the only game that will go down in the Morocco Botola Pro. All right, from there, let's talk about the Continent Games. That is the Confederation Cup. And quite an interesting one now. We see the graphics of the teams that have moved on, and the draws have been held. And of course, the CAF, starting off with the CAF Confederation Cup. Now let's take a look at the games after the draws were made. Modern Future of Egypt to take on Zamalek of Egypt. Abu Salim from Libya will take on Renaissance Berkane of Morocco. Rivers United from Nigeria will take on USM Algeria. USM Algiers from Algeria. And just so you know, this club, USM Algiers, are the holders of the Confederation Cup. So Rivers United will have it tough against USM Algiers. But of course, the fans right there in Nigeria are hopeful that the Pride of Rivers will go all the way. Now there's Stade Malien from Mali. They will take on Dreams FC from Ghana. And moving on to the CAF Champions League, looking at the quarterfinal fixtures, Simba SC from Tanzania will take on Al Ahly of Egypt. TP Mazembe from DR Congo takes on Atletico de Petróleos from Angola. Esperance Sportive will take on Dassa from Tunisia. They will take on ASEC Mimosas from Cote d'Ivoire, while Young Africans from Tanzania takes on Mamelodi Sundowns from South Africa. So quite juicy fixtures that we'll get to see in the CAF Confederation Cup and the CAF Champions League. And talking about the Champions League, let's go straight to Europe. Talking about the UEFA Champions League. Interesting games played yesterday. 2 games. Barcelona took on Napoli, and some fans were wishing that Victor Osimhen was going to score the goals that would lead Napoli to the next round. Talking about the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. But it was not meant to be, as Barcelona defeated Napoli by 3-1. And the other fixtures saw Arsenal defeat Porto. Well, after regulation time, it ended 1-0. And it meant that Arsenal and Porto finished 1-1 on aggregate. And they played the extra time. It still didn't end up with a winner. And they went straight to penalties. And then it was Arsenal that won that one on penalties. 4-2 on penalties, with David Raya saving 2 penalties from Porto, sending Arsenal to the quarterfinals for the first time in 14 years. Let's hear from the manager, Mikel Arteta.
Especially for the club, it's been 14 years not achieving the quarterfinal of the Champions League. That's a long time, and it shows you how difficult it is to do it. So big credit to the boys for what they've done today, and to everybody that turned up in the stadium and from their homes, bringing that incredible energy in the stadium to help us to win the game.
Boost for everyone. I think the way we did it also, maybe not the best game, but you just see everyone pushing so hard, digging so deep, and I think you see the mentality as well in the team when we step up for the penalty. So we are really proud of everyone, and we have to use this in a good way. To use this, we have to grow on this. As you say, it's a massive night for everyone. still a young squad, but it's another big experience for everyone, and yeah, we have to keep building on that and using that in a good way going into the end of the season. So yeah, it should be a massive boost for us.
The frustration is quite big. It's difficult. You already know me. There's a lot of proud players are proud. There's frustration and disappointment, and I felt like we could have go far in this competition with the players that we have. We have a young team, but always developing. But they absorb all the work that we put in and all our tactics and all organisation as a team, and we see it in these games. The smallest error, we're punished, and if we'd defined a bit better in the 90 minutes, we probably would have scored, and that was our intention. What Arteta said and he didn't say, I think it's best. During the game, towards the bench, he in Spanish, I'm not sure if it's to do with the Spanish managers, he insulted my family. And then at the end I said, attention, who he insulted is not between us.
But I'm sure UEFA would get to look into what happened between Sergio Conceição and Mikel Arteta, where it was alleged that Mikel Arteta insulted the family of FC Porto's coach. Well, investigations are ongoing, and we'll get to know what it will be later on. Now, in terms of fixtures, let's look at the games that will go down later today. Atletico Madrid will hope to turn the tide around against Inter Milan, while Borussia Dortmund will have it tough against PSV Eindhoven. And for Diego Simeone, the manager for Atletico Madrid, he hopes that his team will turn up later today.
Sinceramente no creo que tenga que hablar demasiado. Entiendo lo que le dije anteriormente. Confío 100% en los jugadores, confío 100% en mi equipo y sé que van a hacer un buen partido. Lautaro siempre de chico fue un jugador extraordinario, lo ha demostrado en la selección argentina, lo demuestra diariamente en el Inter, encontró su lugar para jugar el fútbol que también el entrenador favorece para su estilo de juego y hoy está entre los mejores delanteros de Europa sin lugar a duda.
Look forward to an interesting game between Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League. All right, from there, let's go straight to the German DFB Cup quarterfinal. It was Saarbrücken taking on Borussia Mönchengladbach. And, of course, the home team defeated Borussia Mönchengladbach by 2-1. And there will be a bottom-of-the-table fight in the English Premier League as Bournemouth will take on Luton Town. That's a revised fixture in the English Premier League. While in the Coupe de France, we'll see PSG taking on Nice. And the fans are hopeful that Kylian Mbappé will get to feature in that one for PSG, as his days are numbered at the club. Remember, he will leave PSG at the end of the season. And rumor has it that he will be joining Real Madrid when the transfer window opens. All right, from football, let's gradually wrap up the show with the basketball, starting off with the Basketball Africa League. Interesting game. About defeating Cape Town Tigers in the Basketball Africa League with 84-58 points. All right, wrapping up with the world of the NBA. That is, of course, interesting games that were played right there. And we saw the New York Knicks in action taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. And for the Knicks, they defeated the 76ers 106-79 points with Josh Hart recording his fourth triple-double of the season as he put up 20 points, a career high, tying 19 rebounds and 10 assists for the Knicks, while Jalen Brunson added 20 points and 4 rebounds and then 9 assists in the victory.
10 assists, and New York gets a big win, 106-79.
Big win for the New York Knicks right there in the NBA. Now let's take a look at the other results that went down in the different places, different centers right there. Memphis Grizzlies were in action, defeating Washington Wizards 109-97 points. And we saw the Indiana Pacers defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder 121-111. And Houston Rockets beat the San Antonio Spurs 103-101 points. Boston Celtics defeated the Utah Jazz 123-107 points. Minnesota Timberwolves beat the LA Clippers 118-100 points. While the Sacramento Kings were in top form as they defeated the Bucks 129 to 94 points, with De'Aaron Fox putting up 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists, while Malik Monk had 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Now for Giannis Antetokounmpo, he featured in that game and he scored 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists for the Bucks, but it was not enough to save them from losing to the Sacramento Kings. Sad loss right there for the Bucks, losing to the, well, I mean, it was quite an amazing performance for Giannis Antetokounmpo with the likes of scoring 30 points, but of course it was not enough in that losing effort for the Bucks. And that's our wrap on today's show. In the Game on News Central TV, I'm Udoka and Njoku saying thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.